So your company's biggest AI problem is actually, well, it's not the algorithm.
Oh, definitely not.
Right. It's the simple, honestly terrifying fact that nobody knows who is actually allowed to hit the launch button. Or, worse,
Nobody knows who has the kill switch.
exactly. Nobody knows who is allowed to pull the plug.
It is a chilling reality when when you actually sit down and look at the operating structures of most modern businesses today.
Yeah.
We spend, an exorbitant amount of time obsessing over the neural networks, right? The data sets, the server
There's the
capacity,
honey stuff.
right? The shiny tech.
Mm.
And we completely ignore the human element of control because the machine is really only as safe as the person holding the leash.
And right now, that leash is just, what, lying on the floor?
Just lying on the floor. Anyone can grab it or nobody grabs it.
Which is terrifying. So welcome to this deep dive into the 90-day AI Authority Playbook. We are specifically focusing on some just incredible insights we've pulled from the show Tech with Dr. Seun Ogunmola.
Really fantastic material in there.
Oh, it's so good. And our mission today is to expose what the playbook calls the silent killer of enterprise AI.
And spoiler alert, it's not a hacker.
Right. It isn't some malicious, shadowy hacker in a basement. It is organizational governance.
Yeah.
So we're going to explore the 4 absolute decision rights that every single tech leader must define today, like right now, if they want their business to actually survive the next decade.
Because the pace of this technology is just aggressively outstripping our legacy corporate structures.
Oh, without a doubt.
A standard corporate hierarchy simply cannot keep up with machine speed decision-making. It's too slow.
Yeah, you send an email and wait 3 days.
Exactly. If you don't have these 4 specific rights mapped out to, specific individuals, you don't actually have an AI strategy.
What do you have then?
You just have a very expensive liability waiting to trigger.
A ticking time bomb. Okay, let's unpack this by looking at a specific scenario from the sources, because this paints a picture that I guarantee, I know for a fact, is playing out in offices all over the world right now. Oh yeah, every single day.
So picture your marketing team, right?
Always the marketing team.
Always them. They discover a shiny new AI tool. Something that writes, brilliant copy and generates incredible campaign images in seconds.
Just super fast, super easy.
Right. So they quietly start using it.
Yep. Shadow IT.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The IT department has absolutely no idea this third-party software is now just absorbing all this proprietary company data.
Just sucking it all up.
Yeah. Meanwhile, on another floor of the exact same building, you have this high-risk machine learning system that's been implemented to make customer credit decisions.
A huge deal. Real money.
Right, real stakes.
Yeah.
Suddenly, that system starts hallucinating. It begins spitting out wildly inaccurate loan approvals or, rejections.
Just pure chaos.
And as the panic sets in, everyone is looking around the room and they realize something horrible.
No one has the authority to stop it.
Yes. No single executive has the clear, undisputed authority to just walk over and suspend the program. And that moment of hesitation, that right there, is the crux of the entire issue. What really stands out in Dr. Seun's analysis is this core philosophical shift we have to make. As professionals.
What do you mean?
Well, when that credit system goes completely off the rails, or when that marketing tool inevitably leaks a bunch of sensitive data, our immediate instinct is always to blame the technology.
Right. We say the AI messed up.
Exactly. We point the finger at the software and say, oh, the AI hallucinated, or the vendor was insecure. But the playbook frames it entirely differently.
How so?
It says these are not tech failures. They are catastrophic failures of leadership.
Wow. Yeah, it's like, okay, think of it like we're handing the keys of $1 million high-performance sports car to a teenager.
A teenager who just got their learner's permit.
Right. And we are also mesmerized by the sleek design, how fast the car can go from 0 to 60.
So fast.
Yeah, that nobody bothered to figure out who gets to sit in the passenger seat, let alone who actually has access to the emergency brake.
We're all just sitting in the back seat.
Yes. Just sitting in the back, watching the speedometer climb straight into the red zone, just crossing our fingers.
That is the perfect visualization of the enterprise landscape right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because governance, particularly when we talk about tech and AI, it carries this heavy kind of toxic reputation of being a roadblock.
Oh, totally. People hate that word.
They hear governance and they roll their eyes.
Yeah.
They picture endless committee meetings, red tape, and policies that just suffocate innovation.
Yeah, nobody wants to be the compliance guy.
Right. But true governance, at least the kind the playbook advocates for, isn't about slowing the vehicle down. It's about installing those guardrails along the highway.
Ah, right. Guardrails.
Yeah, guardrails don't exist to limit your speed. They exist so you can drive incredibly fast without that constant fear of flying off the side of the cliff.
That makes so much sense. So I want to put this directly to you listening right now. If your organization relies on AI, or even if you are just anywhere in the planning phases of integrating it, do you know exactly who is in charge of your algorithms?
That is the million-dollar question.
And to be clear, I do not mean who wrote the code.
Yeah.
And I don't mean whose budget paid for the software subscription.
Yeah, that's completely different.
I mean, who holds the ultimate operational authority over them? Because before we worry about a rogue AI destroying a company's brand, we have to look at the genesis of these projects. You cannot govern what you don't properly initiate.
Absolutely.
We have to understand how these ideas are actually born.
Yep.
Which leads us directly into the first of the 4 decision rights, the right to propose.
Right. So the right to propose asks a really fundamental question. Who actually gets to pitch an AI use case in your organization?
Okay.
The traditional, top-down legacy mindset dictates that this authority belongs strictly in the C-suite.
The big bosses.
Exactly. The executives gather in some nice boardroom, they review quarterly market trends, and they mandate an AI strategy that just kind of trickles down to the rest of the company.
Which usually goes terrible.
Yeah, the playbook argues fiercely against that model.
Yeah, the sources insist that this right needs to be distributed as widely as possible, specifically to frontline employees and individual business units.
And the reason is simple. The C-suite is fundamentally disconnected from the daily operational friction.
Right. They aren't in the weeds.
Exactly. The executives might look at a tech magazine and decide, hey, the company needs a flashy, customer-facing AI avatar for the website.
Right, because it looks cool.
Because it looks cool. But the frontline workers are the ones dealing with the actual bottlenecks. They know where the real bleeds are.
Okay, let me throw in a counterintuitive example here that I think really crystallizes this concept. Think about a large-scale facilities management company, right?
Sure.
If the CEO dictates the AI strategy, they might buy some massively expensive AI tool to analyze macro market trends. But if you give the right to propose to the janitorial and maintenance staff...
Oh, you get a totally different result.
Entirely different and far more practical. A frontline facilities manager might propose using a simple AI model to analyze sensor data from office buildings.
Like motion sensors.
Yeah, tracking foot traffic to determine exactly which restrooms actually need cleaning on a given day, rather than just sticking to a blind static schedule.
Oh, that is brilliant.
Right. That frontline proposal ends up saving millions in labor and supply costs, whereas the CEO's idea was just this vanity project. The people closest to the friction know exactly where the tech provides tangible leverage.
Yes.
But I do have to push back on this idea of mass democratization just a little bit.
Okay, let's hear it.
If you distribute the right to propose widely to absolutely everyone on the front line, from the marketing intern to the regional manager, aren't we just opening the floodgates to chaos?
That is a very valid fear.
I mean, it sounds like an IT department's literal worst nightmare. Every single department head is going to want a custom AI built for every minor inconvenience they face.
Oh, it would absolutely be a nightmare if it functioned like an open suggestion box where any idea gets entertained.
Right.
But this is where the playbook introduces a really crucial mechanic. The right to propose is widespread, yes. But the process of submitting that proposal must be entirely ruthless and standardized.
Ruthless. I like that word.
It has to be. You do not get to walk into a manager's office and say, hey, I read an article about AI scheduling, we should buy it.
Which happens every day.
Constantly. But no, every single proposal, no matter who it comes from, has to clearly define 3 mandatory pillars before a single dollar or hour is spent even looking at it.
Okay, what are the 3 pillars?
The problem, the required data, and the expected value.
Let's break those down, because they seem simple on the surface, but I imagine they require a lot of rigor.
Oh, absolutely. So the first is the problem. You have to articulate the specific, measurable business problem you are solving. You aren't pitching the technology, you're pitching the solution.
So not just I want an AI, but I want to fix this specific bottleneck.
Exactly. The second pillar is the required data. You have to identify exactly what internal or external data this AI will need to consume.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this instantly forces the proposer to reckon with privacy, security, and access realities.
They have to actually think about what they are feeding the machine. And then there's a third one, the expected value. How does a frontline employee actually define that in a proposal without just, making up numbers?
They have to tie it directly to existing key performance indicators.
KPIs.
Right? Is this tool going to recover 50 hours of manual data entry per week?
Yeah.
Is it going to reduce customer churn by 2%? By forcing the employee to calculate the return on investment before the pitch, you instantly filter out all that noise.
Yeah, I bet.
People realize very quickly that their idea for a custom AI to sort their email inbox doesn't actually provide enough enterprise value to justify the cost of building it.
Right. So this ruthless standardization democratizes ideation, but strictly enforces the quality of the ideas that actually make it to the table.
Precisely.
Okay, so getting a great, safe idea on paper is really only half the battle. The real friction happens the moment actual money has to be spent.
Always.
You have this brilliantly articulated proposal from the front line, but who holds the purse strings? This brings us to decision right number 2, the right to approve.
Right. Who gets to look at that ruthless proposal, say yes, and allocate the operational resources?
And the most common mistake organizations make here is relying on a single centralized authority, right?
Yes, like an AI czar or a massive steering committee that has to approve every single tech purchase.
And the sources are incredibly clear that the approval authority must scale dynamically with the level of risk involved.
It has to scale. If you force every single proposal through the exact same bureaucratic funnel, you just create a massive bottleneck.
Yeah.
Let's look at what happens in the real world when a company implements a one-size-fits-all approval process. Safe, simple ideas get trapped in months of legal and ethical reviews.
Which leads us straight into the concept of shadow IT.
Oh, yes.
Which is arguably one of the biggest unmanaged risks in business today.
Massive risk.
Let's say a marketing team just wants a simple AI writing assistant just to help them draft social media posts or clean up the grammar in their external newsletters.
Right. Very basic stuff.
The risk profile there is nearly zero. But if your governance model forces that team to submit their request to a 6-month cybersecurity and ethical review board...
Human nature takes over.
Exactly. Human nature takes over.
Yeah.
The marketing director gets frustrated, pulls out a corporate credit card, buys a subscription to a public AI tool themselves, and just starts using it under the radar.
That is shadow IT in a nutshell. It's software being used in the enterprise without the knowledge, approval, or oversight of the IT department.
And the danger is severe.
Because what happens next? That marketing team gets comfortable. They start uploading confidential Q3 financial projections into this unauthorized public AI tool just to help draft a press release.
Oh, man, yeah.
Suddenly, your proprietary company data is being used to train a public model on a server you literally do not control. All because your approval process was too heavy for a low-risk tool.
So to prevent shadow IT, your department head should just have the autonomous authority to sign off on low-risk applications instantly.
Exactly. Give them the power for the small stuff.
But the dynamic scaling goes both ways, right? We have to look at the other end of the spectrum. What if the HR department wants to implement an AI system to automatically filter resumes and rank job applicants?
See, the risk profile there fundamentally shifts.
Radically. I mean, we aren't talking about drafting a tweet anymore.
No, not at all.
If that HR resume filter is trained on flawed historical hiring data, it might start auto-rejecting perfectly qualified candidates based on biased parameters.
Which is a nightmare.
The company isn't just looking at a PR headache. They're facing massive existential lawsuits for violating employment and anti-discrimination laws. The liability is enormous.
Huge liability.
Yep.
Or consider a healthcare division wanting an AI to analyze patient histories to predict health outcomes.
Oh, the HIPAA violations alone.
Right, the regulatory compliance required for handling health data is labyrinthine. It's so complex.
Yeah.
For these high-risk systems, the department head absolutely cannot be the final say. A single manager cannot carry the legal liability of the entire corporation.
No way.
That is where you require what the playbook describes as a strict gauntlet. You need executive sponsorship, deep legal review, and cybersecurity sign-off. The right to approve must be flexible. Heavy for the dangerous stuff, practically invisible for the safe stuff.
Okay, so let's follow the timeline here. The idea survived the ruthless proposal process.
Yep.
It navigated the dynamic approval gauntlet based on its risk level. The legal team signed off and the budget was cleared. Now, the engineering team gets to work.
They start building.
Right. They build a functional prototype, they test it in a closed sandbox environment, and it looks beautiful. It works perfectly.
In the sandbox.
In the sandbox. But transitioning that prototype from a controlled sandbox into the live, chaotic reality of a business network, that is a massive leap.
And this is where so many catastrophic enterprise failures occur.
Really? Here.
Oh, yeah. The gap between a successful prototype and a live, integrated system is much wider than most leaders understand. Approval to explore an idea and build a prototype is absolutely not the same thing as permission to push that code into production.
Which brings us to decision right number 3, the right to deploy. And the playbook lays down a non-negotiable rule here that I found completely fascinating.
It's a great rule.
The developer who built the prototype should almost never be the person who deploys it to the live environment.
Never. It requires a fundamental separation of duties.
Why is that?
Well, when you spend weeks or months building a piece of software, you become inherently blind to some of its structural flaws.
You're too close to it.
Exactly. Developers test for what we call the happy path. They test the system to ensure it works perfectly when all the right data is entered in the exact right way. But a developer is rarely looking at the macro enterprise architecture.
Okay, I love to visualize this dynamic by looking at a high-end restaurant kitchen.
Well, I like this analogy.
Right. Let's say you have this brilliant, innovative chef working in the back. This chef spends weeks inventing a wild, highly experimental new dish.
They're a genius.
They are a genius. They paste it, they tweak the recipe, and they declare it a culinary masterpiece. But just because the chef cooked it, and just because it tastes amazing to them in the test kitchen, that doesn't mean that plate goes straight out into the dining room to be served to paying customers that night.
Right. Before it hits the menu, it requires an entirely different perspective.
Exactly. You bring in the health and safety inspector. Or maybe the head restaurateur. They aren't looking at the flavor profile.
No, they don't care how it tastes.
They look at the dish and ask, are these ingredients actually safe to consume? Did we source this poultry from an approved vendor? Are these experimental spices going to cause a severe allergic reaction for half our clientele?
Yes. The chef is entirely focused on innovation and capability. The inspector is solely focused on safety, compliance, and risk mitigation.
Right.
In the AI ecosystem, your developer is the chef. But the operational and technical leaders, your infrastructure leads, your data privacy officers, they have to hold the key to deployment. They are the inspectors. And the inspectors have to look for very specific technical vulnerabilities, right? Like primarily surrounding API integration. Oh, absolutely. If we break that down, an API is essentially just a digital bridge. It allows two different software systems to talk to each other and share data. Okay. The developer might have built a fantastic AI model in isolation, but to actually make it useful, they have to build an API bridge connecting that new AI to your legacy customer database. Systems that might have been built a decade ago. Or 2 decades ago. If that integration isn't heavily scrutinized by an infrastructure expert, that bridge might accidentally leave a backdoor wide open for hackers. Or it might allow the AI to pull sensitive financial data it was never supposed to have access to in the first place. It's like plumbing. Yeah. You can't just connect a massive high-pressure fire hose of an AI system to your company's old 1990s copper pipes and just expect everything to hold. No, the pipes will burst. The pipes will absolutely burst and customer data will flood the entire network. By separating the builder from the deployer, you create a necessary friction. It's essential friction. This is how you prevent a rogue experiment, something that was only ever meant to be a fun internal test, from quietly creeping onto the live servers and becoming a core business utility that nobody fully understands how to secure. You need a dedicated gatekeeper to verify that the security protocols and data protection standards hold up under real-world load, not just in a sterile testing environment. But even with the most rigorous deployment checks in the world, the real world is chaotic. Things go wrong. And AI is fundamentally different from traditional software because it learns and adapts, which introduces the concept of model drift. Right. Model drift is a critical concept to grasp here. Explain that for us. Traditional software is static. If you write code to calculate sales tax, it calculates sales tax the exact same way 10 years from now. It doesn't change its mind. No, it just does the math. But an AI model is trained on historical data, and it uses that baseline to make predictions about the future. If the reality of the real world shifts, say A sudden global economic event drastically alters consumer buying habits, the AI's foundational data is no longer relevant to the current reality.
Its baseline is wrong.
Exactly. Its understanding of the world has drifted.
So an AI managing supply chain inventory might suddenly start ordering 10,000 pallets of a product that nobody's buying anymore, simply because the contextual data shifted and the model got confused.
Yeah.
It just starts acting erratically.
Erratic is the perfect word. Or, worse, it starts hallucinating false information and presenting it to your customers as absolute fact. And when an AI goes off the rails, it does so at machine speed.
The damage compounds exponentially by the second.
Yes, every single second.
Which brings us to the final and undoubtedly the most dramatic operational guardrail, decision right number 4, the right to stop.
The kill switch.
The kill switch. Every single AI system operating within your walls, no matter how rigorously tested by the inspectors, needs a unilaterally designated owner of the kill switch.
Someone has to hold the plug.
And the detail from the playbook that really anchors this concept is that this owner must be named explicitly before the deployment ever happens.
Because in a moment of crisis, you do not have the luxury of time.
Let's return to that nightmare scenario we talked about earlier. The machine learning system making customer credit decisions.
Okay, yeah.
It suffers from model drift. It starts auto-approving fraudulent loans, just bleeding company capital by the minute.
Or it starts auto-rejecting perfectly qualified applicants, instantly damaging your brand's reputation and inviting regulatory scrutiny.
How does a typical corporation handle that kind of sudden, unexpected hemorrhage? Like, normally?
Usually, it's utter paralysis.
Just freezing.
Yeah, the frontline workers notice the anomaly and they start frantically slacking their managers. The managers elevated to the directors. An emergency calendar invite is dispatched to 12 different department heads for a crisis meeting later that afternoon.
You convene a committee.
And
while the committee is trying to find an open conference room on Zoom, the AI is still approving fraudulent loans.
Precisely. And once the committee finally sits down, the debate begins.
Oh, the politics.
Always. The VP of sales argues, hey, if we turn this system off right now, our processing volume drops to 0 and we miss our quarterly targets. Can we just patch it live?
Right. And IT says.
The head of IT pushes back, I don't even know if I have the administrative credentials to sever the AI without taking down the entire customer relationship management platform with it.
And legal is just pulling their hair out.
Legal counsel is asking for a formal risk assessment before any action is taken. You are spending hours, maybe days, debating warning signs while the system actively sets fire to your balance sheet.
It is a recipe for absolute disaster. You cannot manage a machine speed crisis with human speed consensus.
No, it's possible.
The playbook is unwavering on this point. You need a dictator.
A literal dictator.
You need one specific person, by name, legally attached to that specific AI model, who has the unilateral, unquestioned authority to pull the plug. No emergency meetings, no consensus gathering.
They observe the hallucination, they hit the big red button, and the system goes dark.
It requires a level of extreme accountability that makes legacy executives very, very uncomfortable.
Oh, they hate it. But someone has to be the designated executioner of that system's lifecycle. If you do not have that person documented, trained, and agreed upon by all departments before the system goes live, you have failed at governance.
Completely failed. So, we've walked through the life cycle. The ruthless proposal, the dynamic approval, the segregated deployment, and the unilateral kill switch.
The 4 rights.
The 4 rights. And the central takeaway here is that AI governance isn't the enemy of speed. Establishing these 4 specific rights is what actually empowers your teams to innovate rapidly.
Yes.
It's the difference between running blindfolded and running on a paved track.
It demands a complete paradigm shift in how we view corporate responsibility.
It means shifting your entire internal dialogue from asking, what amazing things can our new AI do, to asking who is explicitly authorized to decide what happens next.
That is the hallmark of a mature enterprise.
Absolutely. Now, if you are listening to this and realizing that your organization operates more like the teenager in the sports car, and you need to radically redesign your operating models and workflows for the AI age, there is help out there.
You don't have to do it alone.
You don't. You can explore the frameworks and methodologies at Dr Seun Ogunmola Consulting. We've linked directly to their resources in the show notes. It is exactly the kind of structural foundation Dr. Seun focuses on to help businesses scale these technologies safely.
And doing it now is critical. The technology is only going to become more autonomous.
Right.
If you wait to establish human authority until after the systems are deeply embedded in your operations, retrofitting those guardrails will be nearly impossible.
Good point. But as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. Something that takes this framework out of the theoretical playbook and drops it into the messy reality of human psychology.
This is the hard part.
Let's look closely at that kill switch. The playbook dictates that the right to stop requires one person with unilateral authority to pull the plug. But think about what actually happens the day after that button is pushed.
The fallout is immense. You are stopping a system that people stake their entire careers on.
Exactly. Imagine an employee actually hits the red button and shuts down a multi-million-dollar, highly publicized AI initiative that the CEO personally championed.
Oh boy.
When the dust settles and the immediate bleeding of the crisis stops, what is that employee's fate? Do they get a bonus and a promotion for saving the company from a massive compliance disaster?
Probably not.
Or do they get quietly sidelined, passed over for promotions, and alienated because they embarrassed a powerful executive?
This is the ultimate stress test of your corporate culture right here. You have to write protection into the actual workflows.
How do you even do that?
Leaders need to establish safe harbor clauses or incorporate risk mitigation into employee KPIs. Shutting down a dangerous system needs to be celebrated as a success, not investigated as a failure.
Because if your internal culture isn't prepared to fiercely protect and even reward the person who kills a dangerous project, then that employee will never, ever push the button.
They won't touch it.
They will watch the AI hallucinate, and they will keep their head down to protect their paycheck. And if that's the reality of your culture, then nobody is really sitting in the passenger seat with their hand on the emergency brake.
You are just giving your organization the illusion of control.
The illusion of control. Take a hard look at your org chart today and ask yourself who really controls your AI. We'll see you next time.